Welcome to Illegitimate Intellectuals. It's your girl, Miss KK, and today's topic is the hypocrisy or the fallacy that is Black Lives Matter and the unrighteous indignation associated therewith. Let's start the conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's chop it up. Get your coffee, get your tea, get your water, whatever you need, and let's chop it up. The community that I belong to, the African American so-called community, is falling for the okie doke. We are allowing ourselves to be mentally and emotionally manipulated and traumatized by the psyop that is the hypocrisy of Black Lives Matter and their unrighteous, false indignation over the events that happened to Black people, supposedly. And when you take a look at all these things that are occurring in the news right now, today is June 9th. There's talk in both New York and in Minneapolis of defunding the police as advocated for by Black Lives Matter. And to me, I feel like although the slogan is catchy, it's great, it's dope, it's a dope slogan, Black lives do indeed matter, but they only seem to matter when there's a big problem. Now, the death of George Floyd, the murder, rather, of George Floyd is a horrible, horrific thing, if it is real. And that's not to disrespect his legacy or his name, but I find it odd that he had a closed casket funeral for being diagnosed with COVID. That's convenient. Black Lives Matter doesn't seem to show up at any other points in Black history, recent Black history, for anything positive. They're not known for positivity. They're not known for being proactive. They're known for being reactionary, meaning that they only show up in the midst of some horrific controversy, like marching in the name of George Floyd. And this has bothered me for some years. I want to say this has bothered me since like 2017, when we had a lot of civil and social unrest around the deaths of various Black men throughout the country. And we can list them all. We know the names, right? But if you look at their website, if you go to blacklivesmatter.com and you click on what we believe, there is no mention of them advocating or protecting Black men. There is no mention of the protection and the promotion of Black family. They say quite the opposite. And it just dawned on me why they are not advocating for Black lives in any other way. Because they are a conflation of issues when it comes to Black Lives Matter. We have Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and other people that have died at the hands of the people that are supposed to protect them. And I feel that Black people are being manipulated and steered in a certain direction by the social media, news, and groups like Black Lives Matter under the guise of being quote unquote woke. How can you be woke when you are blindly following and listening to strangers, people that you do not know, you've never met before, and people who are outright disinterested in you as a Black, cisgendered, or heterosexual person? While their creed does not outright disagree with those things, they are opposed, if that makes any sense. They advocate for trans people and queerness, and they challenge the Western norm or the Western paradigm of family. And see, that's all good. That's all good if that's an issue, if that is your issue. But then you need to take Black lives out of that. Because the truth is, we are killing each other at alarming rates. Supposedly, Chicago has seen its bloodiest day in the last 60 years this week. And that's not necessarily white people killing Black people. That's Black people killing each other. Where's Black Lives Matter? When the CDC all of a sudden, 3 weeks into COVID-19, discovered that this thing, quote unquote, affects Black people more than anybody else, where were they? Why do we trust them? What credentials do they have that we should trust them? What credentials does anybody have? What credentials does Don Lemon have? What credentials do any of these newscasters have? We don't know these people, but we do know they're not medical doctors. They're not psychiatrists, psychologists. They don't have doctorates in social engineering and social issues, and yet they feel like they can speak on these things with authority and tell you how to move and think as a Black person, what you need to be outraged about, what you need to be upset about, and how you need to react, right? Right now, 36% of all abortions in this country are Black babies. That's over 1/3 of all babies aborted in this country. 1/3 of them are Black lives that did not matter. That's why Black Lives Matter isn't at these abortion centers, these Planned Parenthoods that are in the hood, that are on MLK Boulevard, that's on Malcolm X Boulevard, around the corner from your HBCU. They're not boycotting, they not rioting, they not protesting, none of them. They letting you kill your Black babies, because to not let you kill your Black baby is a form, I guess, of sexism and misogyny, because as a Black woman, I guess that's more important. I don't understand how we can allow ourselves to be this bamboozled. Why? All that other stuff waters down the message. And the message is that we're dying. The message is that we've been lied to. The message is that they're manipulating us and we're falling for it. All these things are happening to us that's adversely affecting our community, and nobody does anything to fix it. We're not doing anything to fix it. We have the lowest numbers of marriage. I want to say there's something like 73% of all Black children are born outside of wedlock. So they're born basically into one-parent households. And we want to say that we're marching and we're political like we were in the 1960s. No, we're not. We had purpose because we had family. We wanted something better for our children. Now we just working. We're working and we're surviving. We're in a worse place socially in a lot of ways than we were in the 1960s. We have a lot of moral issues. There is moral decay. And as much as people want to say, nah, that it's all good. We don't need that. We don't need structure like that. We just need politics. We need someone to advocate for us in the White House. Nah, bruh. We are out here slipping. We are out here slipping. We are looking for a group called Black Lives Matter to tell us how we need to move. And they don't even care about your black babies. They don't care about the black man. And it's not all about color. It's not all about race all the time. But they have made it seem like that is their cause. And it's not. We have poor school districts. We have low PTA participation. Where's Black Lives Matter at your local PTA association? Where are they? I want y'all to look up the pandemic that is diabetes in the Black community. I want y'all to look into the pandemic that is heart disease, breast cancer, and prostate cancer, and how those diseases have ravished our community. How many community gardens does Black Lives Matter have where they're growing vegetables to give to people who are low income, who are on food stamps, who don't know how to make a salad? Making a salad can prolong your life, brothers and sisters. Well, eating it, not just making it. Eating the salad can save your life. And for the deeply indoctrinated ones who think that we can win this or we can beat this psyop with legislation, if we believe that after 400 years of being manipulated and abused and ridiculed for being such prolific procreators, that we only make up between 11 and 14% of this nation's entire population. Why do we believe that? Why is that true? How is that possible? But let's go ahead and use those numbers for the purpose of legislation, how we can affect legislation, right? The American population is 329 million or 330 million. Let's say we make up 14% of that. That's 46.2 million. And I don't know the numbers. If anybody knows the numbers, please comment and correct me on this or provide the links for the correct information. Let's say 40% of our entire population are children. They're under the age of 18 and cannot vote. That's 18.4%. That's 18.4 million of that 46 million that can't vote. Now, the husband of Hillary Clinton, who most recently was pandering and insulting Black people en masse by saying she keeps hot sauce in her purse and doing all types of foolishness to get you to vote for her. Her husband made some of the most astringent laws that incarcerated so many Black men. Also, let's keep in mind, Black Lives Matter does not mention Black men. They don't advocate for Black men until one is already dead and there's a lot of hoopla about it and they can get a lot of money. So, that being said, ex-cons and convicts, people who are currently in jail and who have been to jail, they are not eligible to vote. Let's say 10% of that 46 million are convicts and they're unable to vote. That's 50% of 46 million people that cannot vote. So of the 14% that we make up, only half of that, and that's being generous. All of these numbers are being generous. Only half of that number can vote if they vote. And you think that's going to make a difference? 23 million people out of 330 million people. Let's say all of them voted. All them people vote. What's that going to do? What law is that going to change? And if it was so effective, why isn't Black Lives Matter lobbying for legislation? And if they have, y'all let me know. Let me know. Put it in the comments. Let me know where Black Lives Matter has done a filibuster or they've gotten somebody to advocate and lobby for the change, for anything specific to Black people, right? Do they advocate for Black business? Do they support HBCUs? Do they give any of their money that they've earned or that they've gotten paid back to Black communities? When have we seen that? I tell you what I have seen. Amazon and various stores are giving a portion of their proceeds to Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is speculated to have direct ties to former President Obama and George Soros. Now, I don't know how true that is. It sounds very likely, sounds very plausible, because these are four urban inner city Black youths. 3 of them are women. One of them is a gentleman who's closely related to, and I don't mean like blood relation. I mean like he has political and financial ties to former President Obama. These individuals, where are they getting their money from? How are they able to be in all these different places conveniently on behalf of George Floyd? But before this happened, what were they doing? How do they support themselves before a Black man is murdered? What are they doing? And now they're getting millions of dollars, and nobody knows where it goes. And yet, as a Black person, Black people are out here, Black Lives Matter. Where's the money? What's Black Lives Matter gonna do for your Black life? What are they gonna contribute? How are they going to enrich, improve, or better your quality of life in existence with their existence? How are they going to change that? What are they doing? Why is it that when we hurt each other, it's on World Star and we laugh? It's on Vlad TV and we comment and we call each other all types of ignorant, and we are to blame, and we got to get our kids, and these kids are bad because, they got hood rats for moms. Black women is out here making poor choices when it comes to mates. Instead of being so critical, where are y'all at educating the next generation? Where are y'all at advocating for this music to change? The same dudes, the same rappers that told you they want a chick pee popping on a handstand, they out here engaged to Asian women. They sold dope in your community, paid a whole bunch of strippers, broke them off, put them through college, made careers off of making trap music, booty music, twerking, and then they go off and marry a med student. And then the same dudes that bought their albums and made their out of wedlock children to the same music bumping in the background is now critical of the Black woman raising her kid with no father, with no husband. We got to do better, y'all. We have got to do better. When white people kill us, it's a hate crime. It's still a hate crime when we kill each other. It's still a hate crime. The same indignation that we have over this white man killing this brother in the street is the same amount of indignation we need to have when we hear about our people killing each other. It doesn't change because the color of the skin is different. The spirit is the same. It's destructive. And it's so deep. It's so deep. It's tragic. And I cannot believe that we allow ourselves. I know we better than this. I'm just surprised and shocked that somebody somewhere can press a button, make Black Lives Matter show up, and all of a sudden, Black people are moved to do something, anything. I'm going to march in the street, in the heat, for nothing. Now, after all of this dies down, a vaccine is going to come out. Are you going to protect yourselves against the same government that paid for Black Lives Matter to indoctrinate you and manipulate you? You going to let them vaccinate you too? The same people that lie to you. The same people that for 60 days gave you an update on how many people died every day from COVID-19. All of a sudden, none of that matters because y'all out here marching. The marching is now more important than this virus that supposedly affects Black people more than anybody else. And there's a second wave. We got to put our thinking caps on. We're not dumb. We have allowed these people to trigger us and manipulate us and to do this sleight of hand on us all the time, every time. And it always works. That's why it doesn't change. And that's what's upsetting. That is what's upsetting to me. It's deeper than a black and white. But Black Lives Matter, who don't really care about Black lives, will have Black people focus on the wrong thing. I just wanted to post this to encourage thought, to encourage people to reactivate their common sense. We are better than this. All right? I have links that I'm going to include at the bottom of this video to encourage y'all to do your own research. Look at how Black marriage has declined over the years. Look at what Black Lives Matter has to say about the family and how Black men are conspicuously missing from their creed, their manifesto. And yet they're always on the scene when a Black man dies, right? Think about abortions in our communities. Think about how many of our children are fatherless or in one-parent homes, so they don't have a mother or a father. Let us be introspective and not fall victim to this. Because the motto doesn't need to be defund the police. Because when you out here getting robbed or raped or beat up, you can't call Black Lives Matter to come help you. They're not going to come. Defund Black Lives Matter. That's who needs to be defunded. All right? It's illegitimate intellectuals, man. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'm out.